Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Hill, the Deputy Commissioner, Regional Operations for Victoria Police. Welcome to the Victoria Police Media Centre. Today I'm here to speak to the community of Victoria in relation to the Victoria Police preparatory work as it relates to the Israeli President visit tomorrow here in Melbourne and also the associated protest activity. Can I say from the outset that Victoria Police has done exhaustive work working with other government agencies and key stakeholders, preparing ourselves for the Israeli President's visit here in Victoria tomorrow, also working with key stakeholders as it relates to the related protest activity. Can I say from the outset, there is no threat that we've identified against the Israeli President here in Melbourne, here in Victoria. The national threat level remains at probable, and we are conscious of other events that have occurred in other states in recent times, hence the police response. Tomorrow there will be a large police contingent operating in Melbourne. There will also be specialist resources supporting our frontline operators to ensure the safety of the Israeli President's visit, also the safety of community members, protesters and our police members. Victoria Police is appreciative of the fact that we have, at this point in time, an indication that a large protest will occur at the Flinders Street steps at approximately 5 p.m. tomorrow night, not dissimilar to the protest that occurred at the same location here in Melbourne on Monday evening. That protest was largely peaceful, and we expect the same to occur tomorrow evening. We expect, as was the case on Monday, approximately 5,000, upwards of 5,000 people to be here in the Central Business District protesting as it relates to that visit from a dignitary from Israel. Victoria Police this morning was granted from my application to the Supreme Court special police powers. Special police powers as it relates to the Israeli President's visit here in Melbourne. Victoria Police has been granted those powers that affords us in specified areas to seek the identity of individuals passing through that location, to search individuals, to search vehicles and cordon off a particular area. Now those special police powers relate to the Israeli President's visit. It's specific to areas that he will visit, and it will not directly relate to or impact upon the lawful protest activity that may occur here in Melbourne tomorrow evening as it relates to that visit. Victoria Police is very confident that we are well prepared for the visit tomorrow afternoon, and Victoria Police will respond to any incident that might arise. We respect the right of individuals to protest, but only when it's done lawfully and peacefully. I'm happy to take questions at this point in time.
Deputy Commissioner, can you tell us the special powers you're referring to, are those the same as the Terrorism Community Protection Act that was referred to in your media release?
Victoria Police has been granted special police powers that are contained in the Terrorism Act that has been granted by the Supreme Court of Melbourne.
Commissioner, in your knowledge, when have these powers last been used?
These powers have been used on very few occasions. The first time they were used, I'm led to believe, was back in 2006. Since then, they've only been used for, I think, on 3 or 4 occasions. It is when you have a prominent dignitary visiting the state, where you see large groups of people, where there is a potential of a terrorism act. That's when we've sought these powers, and that's why we've sought these powers for tomorrow's visit.
Deputy Commissioner, can I ask, we've heard that some figures known to police being involved in pro-Palestinian protest activity have been arrested today after a search of their home. Is that in any way connected to these powers that have been granted and to the visit of the Israeli President?
Any arrests that have occurred today do not relate to the special police powers that have been granted to Victoria Police under the Terrorism Act early today.
What about the timing of these arrests? Certainly a regular person would assume if if a bunch of people who are known to police to be involved in pro-Palestinian activities are arrested on the day before the Israeli president visits, that seems quite a remarkable coincidence.
Those arrests that I haven't been fully briefed on to date have not been brought to my attention as a direct and related incident as it relates to the visit by the Israeli president. As I say, I'm yet to be briefed fully on that particular incident. Happy to share with the media at a later point when I'm more informed.
And are those powers already in place since they were approved this morning, or is there like a time frame as to when they're going to take over?
Those powers will be invoked tomorrow, and it relates to those areas that the Israeli president will be visiting. They'll be invoked at a moment of time prior to the arrival of the Israeli president and until he leaves.
And they sort of limited to certain geographical areas, or they apply broadly across Victoria but will only be used in connection to the visit? As in, like, is there any kind of specific areas that they relate to, that they have been approved for?
The special police powers under the Terrorism Act relate to specific areas, sites where the Israeli president will be visiting.
So just to confirm, they can't be used in other areas, like when you were mentioning before the protest and such. You can't use those powers outside of the areas that they've been approved for. Is that correct?
That is correct. Those special police powers relate to a defined area that was endorsed by a Supreme Court justice.
Deputy Commissioner, I know you probably can't say a lot about those particular areas because of planning, but can you just sort of explain why it is that these powers are being used in relation to this visit with a dignitary rather than something like a designated area that we've seen before, why it's quite specific?
These powers have been provided to Victoria Police because of the circumstances that we're policing tomorrow. We're policing an event that involves a dignitary, the Israeli president, here in Melbourne. This is part of a broader set of circumstances that we find ourselves in, the conflict in the Middle East, more broadly and more locally, the incidents at Bondi, and the tension that's across community as it relates to this particular leader. We understand there's tension across community. We understand that this visit has caused some emotions, I suppose, to rise in some community groups. We're conscious of that. And we're also conscious of the security arrangements that we are required to deliver to ensure this visit is provided and is delivered in the most safest way. Safe for the dignitaries, safe for community, safe for the protesters, our police, more broadly.
You mentioned before that this gives police special powers to search and identification and so on. So does that mean any members of the community or protesters, if they do go near where the Israeli president is at the time, that they may be subjected to these special search powers? Essentially, what would you be looking for?
So Victoria Police has the powers to request the proof of identity, name and address. Victoria Police has the power to search individuals, also to search vehicles, cordon off areas. We anticipate that won't be just a power that we will apply loosely. We need to have reasonable grounds before we start, employing these legislative authorities.
But then those same powers don't apply to the Flinders Street protests unless, of course, the Israeli president ends up somewhere near there.
The special police powers that have been afforded to us by the Supreme Court are for specific areas, and those areas relate to the Israeli president's visit.
So just to fully confirm, expecting he's not going to go to Footscray, there's no reason that these powers are going to be being used somewhere completely different, like that suburb where it's nowhere near the visit.
As I'll say once more, these powers that have been afforded to Victoria Police relate specifically to the locations that the Israeli president is visiting.
Deputy Commissioner, can I just ask, after the scenes we saw in Sydney on Monday night, we talked to some protest organisers here who said they have liaised with police, and police have told them they don't want a repeat of what we saw on the streets of Sydney. Can you confirm if there have been discussions with some protest organisers about how to do this in a peaceful manner?
So Victoria Police, as we do consistently with different protest groups that are coming to our central business district to raise their issues, to protest, we engage with them and we implore upon them that we respect for the right for individuals to protest, but it must be done peacefully and within the boundaries of the law. We've worked with organisers for some time with these particular groups. These protests have occurred regularly in recent years. We anticipate, on the back of what occurred here on Monday evening, involving the same protest groups, that we will have a largely peaceful protest tomorrow afternoon. We implore upon the protesters and the organisers that that should occur. We'll work continually with these particular groups. Suffice to say, if people are not inclined to operate lawfully and peacefully, well, Victoria Police will respond accordingly.
Can you give us an idea of the police numbers being deployed for tomorrow? For the Israeli president, maybe too sensitive, but then what about the Flinders Street protests? Similar to what we saw on Monday, what are the rough numbers we're looking at?
So Victoria Police is deploying a large contingent of police members tomorrow in relation to not only the Israeli president's visit, but also the protest activity in the Central Business District. It is one of the larger deployments of our police members that we've seen in recent times, dealing with both of these events.
Can't put a number on it, even for Flinders Street?
As I've said previously, there is a large contingent of police being deployed tomorrow, and for security reasons, I don't wish to share the exact numbers of our police. Suffice to say, we have adequate police rostered and will be deployed tomorrow to ensure the safety of all concerned.
Are you in a position to talk about what units might be deployed? Are we talking about tactical operations, mounted police? I'm assuming it's going to be a cross-section, but are you in a position to sort of talk about that a little bit?
Victoria Police will deploy our general duty police members, supported by a number of specialist units, as we do with our protests on a regular basis. And certainly our capabilities that I'm not going to share at this point in time, our capabilities as it relates to the security of dignitaries, those capabilities will be deployed as well.
Finally, Deputy Commissioner, if you have an update on those arrests I was talking about today, do you know when we can expect that? Will we have any more information on that?
So those persons, once they're processed by Victoria Police, I'll ask not only for myself to be fully briefed, but give you an undertaking that will provide some sort of media release if we can. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.